Before I get into this video topic, I just have to say that for those of you that are enrolled in the Path of the Golden Lion free event on Sunday at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, be prepared. Be prepared. You might get a reality check that you didn't know that you needed. And you know what? You might have some demons in there that are going to get a little upset that you didn't know you had. So, with that being said, just be mindful of that. But if you can take full accountability and you know how to recorrect yourself and course correct, you're going to be just fine. Okay? But with all that being said, I feel like lately I've been trying to herd cats. And I don't want to herd these cats, but it's like I'm feeling like I'm being asked by God to herd these cats. And I don't really understand why. It makes me scratch my head a little bit. And I'm realizing that it's just because that I need to realize also that it's not my responsibility to show people how to actually live if they don't want to. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I know the way, the truth, and the life itself. Like, I'm not that. Okay, I know Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, but I don't think that there's any one way that is perfect other than Jesus Christ. Okay, that's just my opinion and that's just my perspective. But it's almost like we have so many people that are literally possessed by demons out here. They're just walking demons. And I haven't really given up on people, but I've just been letting go of the notion that people actually want to change. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe people. I don't believe what people are saying about wanting to change anymore. I just don't. And I'm not a pessimist by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very much a positive perspective human being. I love life. I love life. Life is beautiful. I'm grateful for each and every day. And I'm very grateful for the blessings of the people that are actually righteous that I do have in my life. And I understand that we all go through times where, it's a challenging time. And there's nothing like having a brother or a sister in Christ when you're in a rough spot. Because they put you on that reality track again. And that's so helpful. It's super helpful. And people will tell you the truth that maybe you don't want to hear. But whenever you speak the truth, it is a form of love. Because it's love. Like, truth is love. And there's no other way around it. But sometimes, it's like talking to these people out here, like in the physical community sometimes. I just get the sense that I'm talking to demons all the time. I truly do. And it's like they forget. And they just try to press for no reason. Some of them do. Some of them are too intimidated and scared to. But then others, they don't want to believe that you are where you are. And so they'll test these boundaries and they'll test these things. And, they'll just really try to test you. All because they want to see if they can knock you, like the lion, at the very top of the hill, off the hill. And when you just stand your ground, and when you want the food, it's just there, right? When you want that Giselle, it's there. The most elite people that I know are always looking for the next thing. But before they go to the next thing, they analyze what's working, what's not working, and then they reformat and restructure, and then they attack and execute the mission. They commit to the mission. They commit to the process. If you can't commit to the process, if you can't commit to the mission, you might as well not even start the mission. There's no reason. Because look, I'm the kind of guy that would prefer to make a shitty decision, and excuse my French here, but there's no other way to say it. I would rather make a shitty decision and live with the consequences of that decision than just kind of floating around, like not knowing what to do, like I'm floating on the clouds. And yeah, it's beautiful, but there's nowhere to go. I'm not connected to the earth. And it's not like, because while we have a physical body, we need to be connected to the earth. And there's so many people that I see that are godly. The people that I see that are godly, it's like their upper chakras, and I'm using this term loosely here, okay? The upper chakras that they have, they are overactive, they're hyperactive, but their lower chakras are underactive. They don't know how to have a connection to the earth. It's because they're taught and shamed for thinking that things that are practical are evil. And for the most part, a lot of people exploit the materialistic qualities of life for evil. That's true. But materialistic things are not evil. We don't need to be so consumed by spiritual sides and spirituality in general of life. We don't need to be consumed by it. There's something outside of that. What is the heart? Okay, the heart is what connects the lower and the upper chakras, so to speak, right? According to that teaching. And I'm, again, using these terms loosely here just for the sake of understanding from a different perspective that might be a little easier than just Bible talk. Because oh my gosh, it literally makes me exhausted even just thinking about it. Some people that are Christian, they get so, and this is obviously a followers of Christ channel, and people that don't follow Christ resonate with this stuff, and I think that's great, but I follow Christ, so I'm going to try to be bringing in as many different ideas as possible, but also leading it all back to Christ, because it always does come back to Christ. I'm not one way or another except for Christ. The only thing that I'm completely all in on is Christ himself. But anyway, so their lower chakras and the upper chakras are connected through the heart chakra. But when you're not living through the heart and with the heart, it's hard to do that. Now, the Bible says that lean not on your own understanding, but to lean on God's understanding. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, it means that if you try to, let your heart, people will say like, oh, follow your bliss, let your heart take you where it needs to go. You can do that, but where does it usually end up? Divorce, the food court, fleshly desires, promiscuity, all these not so good things for society, right? So what does it mean then to lean not on your own understanding, but God's? You literally, whenever you feel like you're not supposed to be doing something, but it's actually going to increase the well-being and the trajectory of your well-being in the long term, it's probably something that you want to do. Not always, but it is probably something you want to do sometimes. Okay, then on the flip side, okay, we have, maybe there's something that you really want to do, but you probably shouldn't because it would put you back, 10 steps. You might make 2 steps forward, but you'll take 10 steps back. But if you don't know whether or not it's actually a good decision or not, you kind of just have to take a leap of faith. That's where you just have to trust the process. And whatever decision you make is going to be what God wills it. That's part of faith. You just have to take the damn leap, bro. Take the damn leap and just move in the direction. If you don't know where to go, just move. There is nothing else to do. You have no other option. If you don't know your options and all you have to and you don't really know which one is going to be the best one, you kind of just have to pick. Because do you realize that we're in a period and a time of spiritual warfare like never before? We have distractions at every corner. We have everything we have the sum of man's knowledge at our fingertips, and yet we use it to fucking look at cats. We use it to look at memes, okay? Now, look, I think that there's fun in GIFs and memes and all that just as much as anybody else. I do. I think that those things are fun. But it's not actually something that's going to propel you to the future. Like in a life or death situation, when you need to make quick decisions, you kind of just have to make quick decisions. When you're in a state of war, you have to make quick decisions. You have to trust your intuition. You have to trust your instinct. You have to be the lion and get out there and just hunt. Because when you're hungry, you're going to want to eat. And when you're hungry, you're going to want to hunt. So that's what you do. You hunt. You go for it. You do these things. But I see so many people that are just letting the demons consume them. And they're even getting hyper religious on themselves. A lot of Christians do this, and Islam does this, Muslims do this. Everybody does it to some degree. It's just a matter of where you're at. And there's a reason why they call it the narrow path. Everybody thinks that they're walking on the narrow path until God shows them that they're not even close. Not even close. And look, there's a difference between you making mistakes, even though you're trying to get to the path, and you knowing what you're supposed to be doing, and yet you neglect it. There's a difference. God's not going to punish you because you don't know something, okay? He's not going to now look, there's going to be consequences, sure, but God's not going to punish you for not knowing what to do. Why would he? He's an all good, absolutely good being that is omnipotent and omniscient. Why on earth would an all-powerful, omniscient, omnipotent, all good, full of justice, mercy, and truth being do that to somebody? He would not punish you. He's going to teach you something. And that's just the way that you have to see it. Sometimes you might not see it that way, but that's just the way that it has to be. And I don't understand, I don't know what else to say to some of these people out here that are just so consumed by their own feelings about how they ought to be, how things ought to be in accordance to what they think is right. They might have an inkling of what is right, and they might. But if you don't actually take the steps, if you don't know where to go, God's not going to punish you for picking an option. There's just going to be consequences to picking whatever option you choose. And you just have to live with it, man. You just have to live with it. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to do. The only thing that you can do at that point, when there is no option that would be better, you just have to decide. And I don't know why, I don't think it's decision fatigue. It's not decision fatigue. It's just, I don't know what exactly it is. If I were to put words on it, the first thing that come to my mind is this lack of inexhaustible energy. And you get inexhaustible energy by being who you are. But you're so wrapped up in what you think you are that you're not just being who you are. And I think that's the main issue. I think that's what's really happening for a lot of people. That's what's going on. And a lot of people think that they are, they're there. They are where they are. And then you listen to them talk and you're like, wow, holy moly, dude. I wish you well, but you're not even close. You're not even close. And again, I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect, but because I've made mistakes, absolutely. And I'm still learning from my mistakes. And I'm going to learn from some mistakes that I've made for the rest of my life. But I'm taking accountability for these things. I know what I did. I know why I did what I did. I know why what I did was wrong. I know how I did it wrong. I know how things went right. I know why some things went right. I know how to capitalize on my strengths now. I know how to capitalize on what I'm good at. I know how to capitalize on the things that I know to be true. And that's the difference. That's the difference. So I hope that with all this being said, that this was an informative or insightful video for everybody. I hope everybody stays blessed out there. The Path of the Golden Lion free event is in the link in the description box below for you to register. If you're in the Regal Change Academy, the Regal Change Academy will just have the link to go directly to the event. But everybody else will have to go through the registration process to get that link. But other than that, I hope everybody stays blessed. Peace. Until next time.